Hello and welcome. My name is Amber Damel, and this is my Adult Education and Training final presentation. In this presentation, I will share some of the key elements that I will take away from this graduate program. The learner-centered approach, multiculturalism, and experiential learning. I also now have a toolbox and will continue to utilize different technologies as a tool to aid in education and training. And lastly, I will discuss lifelong learning and my professional development. One key aspect that I have taken from this program is that most educators and trainers teach how they have been taught. Pedagogy of the Press by Paulo Freire gives an example about the banking system of education, where the teachers are the depositors of knowledge, and the learners are the depositories of that knowledge, only to be filled by the teachers. And my experience in this program has taught me and shown me that knowledge does not just come from the teacher. Knowledge should be co-created by both the teacher and the learner. So for me, I would like to get rid of the traditional approach to teaching, the teacher-centered approach, and move towards a different approach, a more learner-centered approach, where both theory and practice intertwine. And the facilitator can sit amongst the learners, and together they can co-create knowledge. Another aspect of the program that was revolutionary in the way I view education and training was a multiculturalism class. According to the second edition of the Readings for Diversity and Social Justice, oppression restricts both self-development and self-determination. With a depth of information about social justice, as an educator and a trainer, I can promote an environment that is inclusive and works to humanize and liberate the learners through a proper praxis and pedagogical approach. I will utilize the cycle of liberation model to assist in the transformation of what people believe about themselves, which will then create change in our institutions and in our culture. I will also continue to promote equality, social justice, liberation, and inclusion as an authentic educator and trainer. Next, during the experiential learning class I attended at Pingree Park, it was such a great class. It gave me the tools to incorporate experiential learning into my education and training. According to the book called Learning Transfer in Adult Education, experiential learning increases learning transfer and provides rich learning experiences. For example, in both education and training, I can have the learners do project-based learning, where the learners can create a project around their own interests, and I can add educational content. Another example would be to do cooperative learning activities, or even group processing and reflective activities. All of those types of techniques were used in my Pingree Park class. And as I continue in this field, I will be cognizant and make sure to incorporate educational learning experiences in my education and training as well. Many of the items in my toolbox come from the Cognitive Theory and Learning Transfer course, along with the Processes and Methods course. My toolbox incorporates many different things. For example, I pull from different types of models, theories, techniques, different approaches, and even different practices of education. I even use Bloom's taxonomy as an example to create goals and objectives and even to create test questions and assignments. I also utilize the different ISD models such as the Dick and Carey model or even the ADDIE model in order to design programs, create trainings, and develop curriculum. I also have a link to the timeline on Tiki-Taki that I co-created in my Cognitive Theory and Learning Transfer course on the different theorists who have contributed to the field of adult education and training. There are many, many items in my toolbox that I will continually pull from as I continue in this field. Through this program, I have learned about different types of technology from my peers, and even a book called Blogs, Wikis, Podcasts, and Other Powerful Web Tools for the Classroom. Since the implementation of the World Wide Web in 1989, we are now a technological society, and according to the technologist Mark Prensky, cyberspace is a part of everyday life. As a Generation Y or millennial, I have been immersed in technology since I was young. An educator and trainer, I believe that blogs, wikis, podcasts, RSS feeds, aggregators, social bookmarking, online photo galleries, audio-visual castings, and social networking sites are all great tools to engage learners in the learning process. And now I have a new path that I have taken on my journey. As a lifelong learner, I will continue to stay current in the educational field while I'm on that journey. I will continue to utilize different kinds of technologies. I will also pick from scholarly articles, books, and journals, and so forth to assist me on this path. The path to becoming an adult learning facilitator. And in my future, I see myself going down one of two paths, possibly an instructional designer, or even an instructor of some sort. As time progresses, I will be able to advance in the field and become a great adult learning facilitator. And lastly, I wanted to share a quote. Education is learning what you didn't even know you didn't know. And that's by Daniel Bernstein. As I come to the end of my adult education training graduate program and have reflected on my experience, I now realize in regards to adult education and training that I now know. I know what tools to pull from to enhance the learning environment. I know how to analyze the audience. I know how to find out if a need exists. I know how to conduct research. I know what theories to pull from and methods to use. I know how to be inclusive. I know how to create goals and objectives. I know how to conduct evaluations and assessments. I know how to incorporate experiential learning. I know what my philosophy of teaching is. I know what my teaching style is. I know how to do effective lectures, discussions, case studies, and so forth. I know how to be a mentor. I know how to have the courage to teach. I know how to incorporate learning transfer. I know how to use many different types of technologies. I know how to incorporate different learning styles. I know how to develop programs and curriculum. I know how to think about how to think. And most of all, I know how to be an effective adult educator and trainer. The list of things that I now know could go on and on. But in the words of Daniel Bernstein, I am thankful that I now know what I didn't even know I didn't know. And I also want to thank my classmates for playing a huge part in my educational experience, as well as my AET teachers for contributing to what I now know. Thanks to Jacqueline McGinty, Karen Kaminsky, Jeff Foley, and Tim Timpson. Thank you all.